An absolutely gorgeous December day at Cassone's RV here in Mesa, Arizona. And I'm gonna try to do something that you guys seen quite a bit. I'm gonna do a roof inspection today. Big surprise. I had a viewer from the channel reach out to me and ask if I could do a inspection on the roof of their RV. But also, in driving down here from Oregon, they might have hit a tree and had a little bit of damage they needed to have fixed. And then they were based out of Tucson. Now I explained to them, unfortunately, I was not able to go to Tucson to do the roof inspection or the repairs. So undeterred, they said they would drive up to Mesa for me to do the work on it. And I still explained that I would not have time to do the repairs on this. And so they said, what if we just have you do the roof inspection and we'll take it to Cassone's and have them do the repairs. And of course, I could not say no to such dedication and loyalty, so I decided to meet them here at Cassone's RV today, and I'll go ahead and do the roof inspection. So they brought me their 2008 Holiday Rambler Endeavor. It's a beautiful looking coach, and I get to share the inspection with you guys because you guys always like roof inspections. And also, and apparently I don't show enough Holiday Ramblers on this channel. I get asked many times what I think about them, and I think they're beautiful coaches. Now, a Holiday Rambler is pretty much a Monaco. It's still built on the Roadmaster chassis, which you can see the little R on the hubcap there. If you remember my video, I said the Monacos that start with 1 RF are the good Monacos, and those one you want to look for, because that means it wasn't built on a Navstar chassis. Those are a little bit more problematic, and not the wonderful Roadmaster chassis like this one has. That's what the 1 RF means. We got 42,000 miles. I just need some information on that, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at this.
You need the VIN?
No, I'll get all that information, just your personal information.
Okay.
In 2008, Monaco was at its height, where it owned Monaco, Safari, Beaver, and of course Holiday Rambler, and they were all not identical clones from each other. Took the GM approach to dealers and manufactured many similar brands so they can maximize their dealer footprint out there in the world. Now, did you guys just get this, or?
Yes, we did.
2008 Endeavor?
Yep.
She just picked it up in Oregon?
Yes, Mike picked it up in Oregon. We live in Washington State, and then we had it for 2 weeks, and then we came down to Tucson.
Okay. So, but you have been able to enjoy it?
It's amazing. I mean, when she has the slides out, we have a huge party in her.
No, it's a nice coach. Of course, the Holiday Ramblers are Monacos, basically. I don't even know yet, but it kind of looks like it has a metal roof on it, but I don't know for sure. I think by this point they were all fiberglass roofs.
Okay.
So I won't really know until I get up there. That was their claim to fame, was the metal roof for a long time.
Interesting.
Before Monaco grabbed them. That being said, of course, the first thing I'll do is run the slide-out rooms out so we can take a look on the roof of everything. Before I do that, on every Monaco, I do like to do a perimeter walk around the outside and take a look at the molding where the radius meets the sidewall, because Monacos are a little bit prone to having issues right there. I've showed this a few times, but I do like to go ahead and walk the exterior from ground level, looking at where the radius meets the sidewall at this piece of molding right there. Often the hardware fails in that cap, in that vinyl cap that hides the molding, and that roof will come loose from the sidewall. So from the ground level, it's easier to see it. If you just do a quick little cursory glance, looking up from down below. And then, like I said, just kind of a cursory glance. We're just going to be kind of looking straight up. If it's loose, it'll bulge out from the sidewall here, or there might be a gap. That's a pretty common failure point on a Monaco-based RV, on a Monaco of this era. And it kind of looks like there's a bulge and a gap right there. Can't really tell for sure. But now that I know that it might be an area of concern, when I get on the roof, I'll check and make sure that there's not an issue there. It's very important on a Monaco. You're not supposed to be up there yet, Chad.
Sorry, James.
Oh.
Beat you to the punch.
Beat me to the punch. Now, although I did call this a clone, for a while there, Holiday Ramblers were known for having a metal roof. I haven't been on the roof yet. I don't think in 2008 that they have a metal roof. I think it'll be fiberglass at that point, but we'll get on the roof and find out. Normally I like to use a ladder that's built into this, but I don't want to go through their basement and look for it. Chad already brought me a ladder, and we'll get on the roof at that point. All right, one thing we will notice, there is checking in the fiberglass. Though I don't cover it very much, this checking is very normal in fiberglass. That's especially in the dark colors of fiberglass. The heat causes the resin to off-gas a little bit, and there's really nothing you can do about it. It's kind of an industry-wide plague issue. And of course, the clear is, unsurprisingly, peeling. But usually that happens after a few years on most RVs anyways. And I'm gonna say, looking at it, this is gonna be a fiberglass roof, even though I haven't touched it, because a metal roof usually has a seam all the way down the middle that's riveted and has tape down it. So let me see. Yeah, this is fiberglass. You can see a little bit of spider checking here. And it's kind of hard to see, but you can see a little bit of fiberglass texture in it. If we come over here, but it is a seamless fiberglass roof. So there's no seam down the middle like we already discussed, and there's no seam on the radiuses. So it gets wrapped over. You can actually see the edge of it right there. It's pretty thick. I don't have a way to measure that. I don't bring anything. Now, this is not a Turnabon. It's kind of hard to see. That's a metal foil. That's aluminum tape. So it's a little bit more durable. It doesn't seem to have as many problems with UV issues. And it is riveted under there. So they did keep the riveted body panel, riveted style that they did on the metal roofs. It is, if you see Chad walking on it, it does kind of like float, because the roof deck itself is sitting on top of styrofoam, and the frame's in the middle, and then there's more styrofoam in the ceiling underneath right there. So the roof is kind of floating.
It's gonna give a little bit of give, which is normal.
Right, and that's normal. That'll be true on the metal roofs too. Let's see. I was gonna say I didn't see anything, but obviously some sealant right there is gapped. We should probably have them reseal this. On this roof, we're just gonna be using self-leveling Dicor. Don't use silicone, because this is an acrylic sealant that's on there already, and Dicor or silicone won't stick to that. There's a little bit of a gap where the radius meets the rear cap, and of course this is the fiberglass rear cap. We already looked at that. Now, one thing I may not cover on this tape, this sealant on either side of that has no bearing on the tape whatsoever or its waterproofness. It only people put it on there to keep the edge from peeling up. And while there's a little bit of damage right there, I would want to get that capped off with some sealant on top, because now we've created a channel. Even though, yeah, now we've created a channel where water can get under here, and now it's right along here. Again, this is still redirects water as flashing. It still has a really good seal where it mounts the roof to the framing underneath. And of course, this is a fiberglass roof, and you should be washing and waxing them with a wash and wax. I don't know if you can see a little bit of oxidation coming off on my hands there. But you don't have to get on your hands and knees and do a paste wax. Just a wash and wax is all you're gonna need. We have, I think there's 4 slide outs.
All right.
So I think there's 4 slide outs. So we come to the first slide out right here. This has the original acrylic from 2008, and it looks like it's been repaired right there. So I would recommend at least keeping an eye out on it and being aware of it. But again, clear's peeling. We know that clear's peeling on this. We come over to this side. I think this is the side they had a run-in with a tree, and they do need a new topper fabric for sure. Now, the downside is that I can't do it, but Chad's here, and he's going to do it for them. He's going to have to tell them that looks like when they hit, it did bend this a little bit. I don't know if you guys see it's tilted down a little bit.
See it real good over here.
Yeah. We'll see what we can be done on that. Won't be able to get the acrylic woven fabric again, so it'll probably be a black universal slide out topper, which is going to be a problem because there's 3 other slide outs right there, here, and there, and if they want them to match, they'll have to do all 4, and that starts adding up to real money. But I don't see any issues with that molding right here. We look really good. If I get you guys closer, you should be able to see it's nice and tight against the sidewall right there. The factory does seal underneath right here. I don't think it's a good idea to seal underneath the molding, so if water does get in, the seal will keep it from getting out, but that is normal. But you should be able to see that bracket bent pretty good there now. So I just remembered I'm supposed to have the slate rooms out for this roof inspection, so let me do that real fast. Chad's got me all confused.
Well, there is some stuff on that front antenna, front cap. You should.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't spoil the ending.
Well, I'm gonna open the slides and you can watch from the roof.
Okay. All right. Chad's gonna run my slide out rooms out now. There we got one coming out right there. Got the second one coming out. Third one's coming out. Here comes the last one that had a little bit of damage on it. Actually, it has a lot more damage than I expected because this is a cable-driven slide-out room and we're missing a cable right here. Uh-oh. Come over here. That's the cable that's supposed to be there, and it's missing one. Now with the slide-out rooms out, we can finish up this inspection. Thank you, Chad. No problem. So now we can go ahead and take a look at the roof of the slide-out and see the repair tape flashing. It internally did not stick forever, and it's starting to peel up pretty bad. I would probably still just recommend trimming that off. It is still sticking right back here, but we want to make sure it's not trying to peel off anymore. But the problem with that is getting this other tar, because this is kind of a tar-based adhesive, getting that off without it creating a mess is going to be difficult. And let's see if we can't see this a little better. So, yeah, so this edge doesn't have a problem. Looking all the way across the top, not seeing too much. Slide seal is definitely seen a better day. If they're doing the topper, that'd be the time to do it if you're ever going to do it. I need to write some of this down. Take a look at this roof AC. The shroud doesn't seem to be broken. I'm just going to lean up against it and make sure it's not loose. And it's not. And now that we have this out, and that is pine cones or seeds of some sort, not beetles. Take a look at the roof of this slide out. Doesn't look like it's nearly as bad. Take a look down the side. That seal looks like it's in pretty good shape. And then another common failure point is going to be the slide out seals, because they did have that metal banding on it, and they like to come loose right in the middle where water can collect and cause that metal teeth to the metal clips to rust out. But I'm not seeing that as an issue. And then what else is pretty common is this little dust seal here. I kind of call it the Bart Simpson because of the profile. It doesn't really serve a purpose. I normally just pull it off and don't replace it. Get over here to the skylight. This is what's known as a neo-angle skylight. Kind of looks like the Superman. That's not a crack. Okay, good. Looks like it's still the original. No, it can't be original. Somebody's retaped this thing at some point, because you can kind of see the outlines of where lap sealant would have been. So I think somebody did some work on this some time ago. Kind of even see the checking right there, and then where the tape would have been here, or where the old sealant would have been. But I'm not really seeing an issue. There's a little bit of a tear in the tape there. And maybe right there, I might recommend we reseal those areas. I don't know how long ago this was replaced. The paint that's on it is definitely seen better days. It's starting to oxidize pretty good too. All right, we'll follow this over here. This is going to be an awning rail extension that acts as a cap over the radius cap. So we do want to make sure that there's no water intrusion that gets past here, because that can cause havocs too. Now, I think the customer or the owner did tell me that these vents have been recently replaced, this one and that one. So you'll notice there's no metal tape on here. You can kind of see the ghost outlines of it. I'm not a huge fan. I would like to see a nice lap seal all the way around on this, because you can see the rivets that are holding it down are kind of exposed. And these are blind rivets, so they do have holes in the shank, and we want to make sure those don't, even though they should theoretically seal, we don't want to make sure that we're dealing with theoretical. The rivets that hold these down are usually about 1.5 inches long to get to the framing, like I was telling you about. And you want to make sure you're on the framing. If you just screw into the roof material on these Holiday Ramblers and Monacos, the whole roof is loose. You guys have seen that. And the hardware will fail, the vent will come loose, and then it will leak underneath. So you need to make sure you're getting into the framing. Let's see. Not really seeing an issue here. I kind of would still like to see a nice lap seal all the way around there. This doesn't look too bad. I don't know. I'd probably want to reseal right there. Somebody's been playing around right here. All right, this slide out fabric is torn. We take a look over the top. I don't see that wiper seal coming loose or the bulb seal coming loose in the middle, so that seal's going to be good. And that seam tape looks pretty good all the way across. And this, if you can see right here, there's a metal roof. They've wrapped it around, bent it down, so there's kind of seamless on the side right here. A lot of manufacturers even to this day have a picture frame molding where water can get stuck and rot out your roof. Okay, it's a big open space right up in here, so if you want to put solar on, they give you a lot of room here. But we might as well go ahead and make sure that this edge is not loose. It's looking really good, no cracking, no tearing. This fabric seam stitching has failed. Other than that, the fabric is fine. Looks like maybe somebody's done a little bit of work right there, sealing down the edge of that tape. All right, the slide out seals don't look too bad there. Like I said, this Bart Simpson seal, I don't think it serves a purpose personally. This bulb seal right there is the actual slide out seal. There's more of a dust seal that engages another seal right there. I call it a dust seal, but it doesn't seal from dust. It's just, I don't find a purpose for it. We have more clear coat peeling, a little bit of checking here. Have another fantastic vent. I'll walk around it, make sure that it's not loose, and it doesn't seem to be, but I still do want to seal all the way around with a lap sealant all the way around. Somebody was gouging away right there and there, so I don't know, somebody was doing something up here. But this seam all the way down looks really good. I think maybe somebody's already redone that because you can see the tape would have been there. So somebody put a lot of effort into this. This is a lot of work pulling off that tape. See, come up front here. Take a look at this side of the slide out, and really not seeing too much here. Somebody has already removed that Bart Simpson. Don't look too bad. Another fairly common failure point on most of these entry door awnings, if the wall inside is rotten, it's going to be underneath this awning right here where the sidewall meets the front cap. They didn't do a good job of sealing between those two areas, and so water can get behind here and into the sidewall and start rotting out the header above the entry door. So it looks like somebody's resealed that. But this molding right here wasn't loose. We don't have a problem on that side. Maybe I'll just recommend we do a little bit of a cap seal on all the radiuses, termination points. A little bit of sealant right there. Again, we'll just be using Dicor. I'm kind of recommending, because I'm not sure why somebody took off some of that sealant but not all of it, to maybe clean. I wouldn't reseal that. It's hard to know. All right, the TV antenna, we have exposed hardware here. That should definitely be resealed because these aren't even exterior grade screws and they're rusting. Those are cabinet screws. That should be sealed. This front cap meeting the roof. We'll walk it. Not seeing it flex or anything, so we don't look too bad there. You don't see all the movement right there in the roof. That's normal. So don't be worried about it being a rotten or anything. It's just a little bit of a floating roof. Come back here to this front AC. Again, we're gonna look for the shroud, make sure it's not broken, missing hardware, and then we're just gonna make sure it's not loose. I didn't point it out, this has the King Control replacement TV antenna head for a Winegard Batwing. They work. They don't bend as easily as the Batwings do. This would be the Track Vision R5. Pretty much all the Track Visions of this size are all obsolete. We will make sure the feet are sealed up okay. I'm not a huge fan of what I'm seeing here because This is silicone, and it's not self-leveling silicone because it should level itself out. This is just normal silicone. And normal silicone, if it doesn't level itself out, can create pockets or voids that do start creating seams to let water in. That's why you want to use self-leveling, because it gets rid of all of that, those voids. This plate right there, I'd probably reseal right here too. This is for the Sirius XM radio. They went a little crazy with the sealing that. I think right over here is where we're going to find our one problem from the ground floor area. Right about... Oh, you know what? I thought there was going to be an issue. But from down at the ground level, I thought there was cracks and voids here, but it's not. It just looks like it because of the way it's pulling away, but it's not loose and there's not any voids. So this is one of the most problematic areas on a Monaco construction, and it's not bad. I thought it was from the ground. So we're going to do a visual inspection from the ground and the roof. It's these air horns. I will grab on them. They don't feel loose. We do have more exposed sealant here, or we have more exposed hardware here. I'm not sure. There and there. It's like all the sealant's just wearing away. It's pretty strange. So we want to reseal that, reseal this. And yeah, this tape is a little bit exposed there. I'd probably just lap sealant over there, lap sealant there. Almost feels like they used the wrong sealant on some of these areas. It's just turning to powder. So unfortunately, I'd probably recommend all this stuff be scraped off because it's not doing anything. And I'm going to assume that's what was right here. Yeah. So definitely before you reseal, you'd want to get all this stuff off because you don't want to seal to something that's peeling off that easily. It feels more like the sealant Winnebago uses on their radiuses. It's a Manus Bond. It's kind of a white urethane, but it turns into that flaky powder after 10 years or so in the sun. So probably the wrong choice on this roof. I'm just going to be recommending Dicor self-leveling sealant. Yeah, they kind of covered a lot of this stuff with it. I think that's what's kind of going on. All right, and then same thing in the radio antenna. Now this front cap is actually pretty solid. I'm not going to stand on it, but I will peer over the top. So hang on tight with me, guys. We'll take a look at the clearance lights. I don't see anything other than there is moisture in them, which isn't uncommon. This is a one-piece gasket set windshield. And gasket set windshields, they are a little bit problematic, especially on Monaco, right here where where it meets the top of the front cap. So I do want to make sure it's not falling out there. And I'll peer over the side here. Moisture in the clearance light, moisture in the clearance light. Look at our gasket. And there's a little bit of a bulge. You can kind of see this comes out. Bulges out a little bit, but it is still intact. It's not falling out. So I wouldn't cause any alarm with that. I think that's pretty much the whole roof inspection. Nope, I forgot we didn't check on the top of the slide out over here. It's a little dirty, but looks pretty good. Still recommending new fabrics all the way around. But yeah, they built a nice metal roof. You'll be surprised how many luxury RVs are out there built by a certain company that has a rubber roof on top of all their slide outs. And they're charging around $1 million for those coaches. This is it. We did the roof inspection on this 2008 Endeavor. We definitely did find a few items. It looks like the owner has been maintaining it, or somebody has been doing some work to it. I did find a number of issues I would want to get resolved first. The most important one's going to be obviously that slide out topper and the slide out cable. The toppers everywhere else, they're serviceable, but they are going to cause a problem in less than 2 or 3 years, because once they tear down in the middle, they start to direct water. Because a lot of times these stitches come loose right here. The fabric comes out of the middle of the rail, but is held in tight by the screws back there and creates this great big huge funnel that takes all the water and overpowers the slide out seals, because this is on the roof of the slide out. So that is something to be aware of. Currently it's not doing that, but I think it will do that shortly. There was a little bit of resealing on the awning, the skylight, the ladder, and the components up front there. I would still like to do a perimeter lap seal all the way around these two vents here. Wash and wax the roof. But really my biggest concern getting on the roof was going to be up here at the front corner. It turned out not to be an issue, so I'm really happy about that. I'll take my list, I'll touch base with the customer and let them know what I found on their roof. I was happy to share the roof inspection of this 2008 Holiday Rambler Endeavor with you guys. I do hope the video was somewhat useful in finding the common failure points on Monaco, Holiday Rambler, Beaver, and Safaris of this era. Importantly, is going to be this roof gutter or radius molding right there. It is a very common failure point. And then of course, we want to use self-leveling Dicor on this roof, not because it's a fiberglass roof, but because that's what was used on it originally from the manufacturer. The good news is for me, I just had to do the inspection. The owners will get with Chad and the rest of the crew here over at Cassone's RV and see what can be done to fix all those deficiencies that I found. And I don't have to do the work. But I'm very confident Chad and Micah and the rest of the crew here will do even better work than I could even hope to do. No, I won't go inside because I don't like to show customers' units on the inside because I don't want to be responsible for that. But we'll show everybody your beautiful roof. Thanks a lot. Before we do that, I do like to do before I do that, on a Monaco, I think a little known fact is Chad has a Holiday Rambler.
I got the metal roof Holiday Rambler though.
Yeah, the claim to fame Holiday Rambler. Metal roof.
Yeah, mine's got that big ugly seam down the middle though.
There's no dents in it? Oh.
It's solid.
Oh. This is a 2008. Yours is a 2003. I don't exactly know when they stopped doing the metal roofs.
I think as soon as they started going full body paint.
You think so?
I think so. Well, I take that back because the vacationer I was going to look at was a 5.
Right.
It was full body paint and had a metal roof.
That's the one that had the dent on it.
That's the one that had the big dip in the roof.
Right, yeah. But that was even a gas unit. That was on a workhorse chassis.
Yeah,
yeah.
W24.
So I don't know when they switched to all fiberglass. It's a good question. Maybe if there was some sort of compendium of human knowledge available at anybody's fingertips,
yeah, if we only
could figure it out.
Film you climbing the ladder.
You're gonna film me climbing the ladder? Nobody wants. No, I don't want to see that because people will be like, "You shouldn't step on the top of that ladder to get on that ladder. That's unsafe." The front top, the front upper exterior.
I was surprised. Oh yeah, it's not there. I was surprised to see an AccuSlide.
Why? Well, they were the Schwintex of their day.
Better than Schwintex, in my opinion.
Much better. I hope it was a helpful video. We learned a little bit of things. I do hope this video was somewhat useful. We learned a little. I do hope there was some. I do hope we learned a little bit.